Hi everybody, this is Nate with another Backcountry beer review. Today I'm in the Guadalupe Mountains in southeastern New Mexico, near the town of Queen, and I'm about to embark on a 3-day backpacking trip in the Last Chance Canyon, Sitting Bull Falls area. It's actually the head of Sitting Bull Canyon behind me. And what better way to celebrate the start of an amazing, I hope, backpacking trip with a pair of barley wines. The beers I'm reviewing today are by the Second Street Brewery in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Those of you who have watched my channel for a long time know I'm a huge fan of Second Street. Probably my favorite New Mexico brewery. I just think everything they do is awesome. And this is definitely no exception. So the name of these beers is actually just barley wine. That might come as a surprise to some of you. This used to be called Skookum. And I think the source of that name was it was a clever play on the fact that the Bigfoot barley wine by Sierra Nevada is sort of the standard or the figurehead for the style in America. Obviously, we all know who Bigfoot is. My understanding is that Skookum is a character sort of similar in the Pacific Northwest, which I guess is where Bigfoot is from, so I don't really know. But they've had to change the name for reasons that I will not get into right here. It is now called just barley wine, which is just fine with me. I mean, that is what's in the can after all. And they've actually released 2 barley wines in 2021. The first is a West Coast style, and the second is a British style. Now, normally I'd read the can and kind of explain a little bit about it, but it seems like there's a little bit of printing error. So if you want to see the description of the beers, it's going to be in the description below. Really, the West Coast style, I'm expecting to be more hoppy, more strong, whereas the British style, I'm expecting to be a little smooth, a little malty. But barley wines are one of my favorite styles. I'm really excited to open these up and give them a try. Okay, well, we're being treated to a pretty nice sunset, so time to try these beers. We're starting off with the British style. This is really living up to kind of what you would expect if you'd never had the style and you were told this is a barley wine. It's very winey. It's got a slightly syrupy mouthfeel. I mean, it definitely feels thick. The first tasting notes I'm getting are red fruits, red apple, red grape, a little bit of like dried California raisin. And then the flavor profile sort of shifts to more like lighter, dried fruit notes. That's where I'm getting more like figs, bit of dried apricot, a little bit of honey. It's got that kind of floral character. And you know, I'm actually getting a little bit of oak wood, very much like uncharred wood, like the stuff that you would get in bags for smoking on your grill. Whereas it kind of had these syrupy, fruity, sweet notes at the beginning. The finish is much more like potent tannic bitterness. Nothing that's gonna knock your socks off. I mean, it's pretty mild, but to me, it's sort of reminiscent of black tea, maybe a little bit of that wood. This is not the barrel-aged edition, mind you. This is just the natural flavors from the beer. On the finish, I'm even getting maybe a little bit of like leather upholstery, right? It just has this antique flavor almost. It's very interesting. I actually am a big fan of the more traditional British style barley wines, and so this is really enjoyable for me. So let's give the West Coast one a try. Okay, West Coast. Having this one after having the British style one, you have to get past the fact that this one is so much stronger, so much hoppier than the British style one. It's almost like a completely different beer. Like you wouldn't have this and the other one and say, yep, these are both barley wines. They're so different. With that said, this one still has these red fruit notes on the outset, but it's much more, it's registering to me like almost like holiday fruits, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I'm getting like a little bit of boozy raisin, like in fruit cake. I'm getting actually a lot of cranberry, a little bit of like maraschino cherry, just kind of the spiced fruits, maybe like a craisin, you know. And it's much less whiny than the British style one. Like the mouthfeel for this one, really much more thin, much more bubbly, much more bright, which kind of counterbalances just the more potency of it. To me, it's like if the British style was leather and oak wood, this one is like mahogany or cherry wood. It's like an old antique desk. The finish, despite the fact that the IBUs are higher, I'm not really registering the finish in this as being particularly bitter. I think maybe my brain is trying to say, oh, bitter, but really what I'm getting is the hop profile. The hop profile is so much more forward in this versus the British style. I'm getting herbal, very much vegetal, a little bit of earthy notes. So, you know, in comparing the two beers, my instinct is to say I prefer the British style because that's more in line with kind of what I like. But at the same time, I can't deny that even after having it back to back with the British style, I appreciate the West Coast style a lot, and I might even actually like it more than the British style. Nonetheless, they're both amazing beers. I really recommend that you try them. Cheers and have a backcountry beer for me. And even though it's not a beer barley wine, it does have a finish. It's Titanic black tea. Really, this is, if you ultimately use barley wine, this is pretty similar to this. This is barley wine. It tastes like a long dry wine, really long variation, black coffee, root wine, something.